Greetings my fellow Azerothians and welcome back to the channel. I'm sorry that I haven't been uploading frequently. I'm still dealing with some health issues IRL, but hopefully from this point on I can provide some more consistency with the channel. We're going to be doing beginner guides or guides in general for each of the classes and specs that we play, as well as bringing you some brand new news whenever it drops for World of Warcraft. Now today's video is going to be a beginner guide for Demonology Warlock, or a guide just to help you get up to scratch and up to date with this class and make sure you can do the damage that you need to do. Now before we get started, I am live over on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday every week, where we play an abundance of games from MMOs like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, or even games like Baldur's Gate. Make sure that you subscribe and like the video and comment below if there's anything that you would like to see or any classes that you need some help on. On this channel, it doesn't matter whether you are a battle-hardened veteran of the game or a fresh-faced, brand new player. I am here to help with whatever I can. So, the Demonology Warlock is one of 3 specs for the Warlock class in World of Warcraft. It specializes in summoning a legion of minions to aid in battle while strategically building up resources for maximum impact. Once the momentum kicks in, this specialization becomes a powerhouse, seamlessly dishing out damage while keeping control over your army. And if you're a fan of strategic style engagements that require steady movement and a build up, then Demonology Warlocks are going to be your go-to choice. But that's not all. Just like all the other Warlocks, Demonology offers unique abilities like the Demonic Gateway, Teleport, Health Stones, Soul Stones. They are a very bring it all type of class to the party or raid. So whether you're conquering dungeons or taking on raid bosses, the Demonology Warlock brings a blend of strategic gameplay and some cool summoning to the table. If this sounds like a class for you, give it a shot. I've been playing it for a while now, and it truly is such a fun spec. Now, the first part of the guide, as always, will be our stat priority. When it comes to gearing up, the golden rule is to prioritize your stats in this order. We're starting with Intellect, as it's your primary stat, and it's going to boost your overall damage. Next up is Haste. This is the bread and butter of the spec, and it speeds up spellcasting and summoning, just making it an all-round smoother class to play. Next up, we have Critical Strike and Mastery. They're both on par with each other. As your own damage output increases, Crit does become slightly more valuable than Mastery. And finally, Versatility. This adds a touch of damage and reduces damage taken. It's just a well-rounded secondary spec, just something that you can have a bit of. These priorities are based on simulations using your BIS gear. They give you a great starting point. Now, of course, that goes off BIS gear. You won't have BIS gear right off the bat. So what you're going to be doing is going to Simulation Craft and running your own sims, whether that be for single target, for AoE, for dungeons, whatever it is you're trying to figure out when you get a new piece of gear, because then you can see which items really bring your damage up. Now, before we move on to the next part of the guide, which will be talents, I want to show you an amazing add-on that was brought to my attention by a good friend of mine. It's called True Stat Values. It means whenever you mouse over one of your secondary stats, it gives you the limit before a penalty is started. So here you can see what is ideal and what you shouldn't go over. Again, this is True Stat Values. Next up, we're going to have the talent section of the guide, and we're going to be starting with dungeons, mythic dungeons, and what talents you can take to be effective. Now, on the left side, we have our Warlock points that all classes and specs of Warlock get access to. In row 1, we are taking Fell Domination, Demonic Circle, and Burning Rush. Just pure utility here. In row 2, we are taking 2 points into Demon Skin, 2 points into Fell Armor, and 1 point into Fiendish Stride. In row 3, we are taking Curses of Enfeeblement, and we are taking Mortal Coil, a great stun or interrupt for a dungeon environment. Then in row 4, we are taking Demonic Embrace, we are taking Demonic Inspiration, Wrathful Minion, and Demonic Fortitude. In row 5, we are taking Sweet Souls and Demonic Gateway, amazing utility for any environment. In row 6, we are taking Dark Pact, we are taking Strength of Will, and Shadow Foreign, another good AoE stun. In row 7, we are taking Frequent Donor, 2 points Socrathar's Guile, 2 points Sagarai Technique, and 1 point Dark Fury. In row 8, we are taking Soul Link. Row 9, we are taking 2 points Grimoire of Synergy and 2 points Soul Conduit. In row 10, the final row, we are taking Inquisitor's Gaze and Soul Burn. Now, on the right side of the tree, Demonology specific talents. This is going to give you your main single target or your main AoE. And in this regard, we're going to be going more AoE as we are doing dungeons. In row 1, we are taking Call, Dreadstalkers. Row 2, we are taking Demon Bolt, Dreadlash, and Annihilation Training. In row 3, we are taking Demonic Knowledge, we are taking Demonic Strength, and the Houndmaster Stratagem. In row 4, we are taking Implosion. This is the bread and butter. This is the main ability because this is what's going to cause a lot of your AoE damage to skyrocket. And we are taking Carnivorous Stalkers and Heavy Handed. In row 5, we are taking Power Siphon and Grimoire Felguard. In row 6, we are taking Bloodbound Imps, Inner Demons, Demonic Calling, and Fell Sunder. In row 7, we are taking 2 points Imp Gang Boss and 2 points Dread Calling, and finally Cavitation. In row 7, we are taking Summon Demonic Tyrant, a major CD right here, and Tauren Armaments. In row 8, we are taking 2 points into Soulbound Tyrant, the Expendables, and 2 points into Infernal Command. In the final row, we are taking Reign of Tyranny and Guillotine. These are your dungeon talents. Now, next up, we have our raid talents. Now, Demonology Warlocks do reign a bit more supreme in the raid single target environments. They do tend to absolutely blast when given the opportunity to raid. So, on the left side of the tree, once again, our Warlock talents, we are going Fell Domination, Demonic Circle, and Burning Rush. In row 2, we are taking 2 points Demon Skin, 2 points Fell Armor, and 2 points Fiendish Stride. Row 3, we are taking Curses of Enfeeblement and Mortal Coil. In row 4, Demonic Embrace, Demonic Inspiration, Wrathful Minion, and Demonic Fortitude. In row 5, we're taking Sweet Souls and Demonic Gateway. Row 6, Dark Pact and Dark Accord. Row 7, we are taking Frequent Donor, 2 points Sacrifice Guile, and 2 points Sagarai Technique. In row 8, we are taking Fell Synergy, and we are taking Soul Link. Row 9, 2 points into Grimoire of Synergy, and 2 points into Soul Conduit. Row 10, the final row, Inquisitor's Gaze and Soulburn. Again, not much has changed here. We've just gone out of Shadow Fury and a bit more into the left side of the tree. Now, the right side again, Demonology points, and this time for single target. Things change, you come out of certain things. We go more left side and we come away from Implosion. So, row 1, Cold Dreadstalkers. Row 2, Demon Bolt and Annihilation Training. Row 3, we are taking Demonic Knowledge and Summon Vile Fiend, Demonic Strength, and Houndmaster Stratagem. In row 4, we are taking Shadow's Bite and Carnivorous Stalkers and Heavy Handed. Row 5, we are taking Power Siphon and Felguard. In row 6, we are taking Bloodbound Imps, Inner Demons, Demonic Calling, and Fell Sunder. Row 7, we are taking Umbral Blaze, 2 points. We are taking Dread Calling, 2 points. In row 8, we are taking Nether Portal. This is where it changes, because Nether Portal is pure single target and it's going to give you crazy burst damage. So Nether Portal and Demonic Tyrant. In row 9, we are taking Ner'zhul's Violation, 2 points, Sacrifice Souls, 2 points, and Soulbound Tyrant, 2 points. In the final row, we are taking Gul'dan's Ambition and Reign of Tyranny. Now, next up, we're going to be talking gems and enchants that you're going to be looking for to put on your gear. Now, if you're just starting out, a lot of this won't be too important, but if you are looking to raise your DPS a little bit, I would always suggest getting your flasks and potions ready, and once you've raised your gear level a bit, then whack on your enchants. Now, the top gems for Demonology Warlock, we're going to be going with 1 Fierce Elemental Diamond, and then in the other sockets, we're going to be going to Quick Emerald. Cheaper options with Haze can also work, but remember, simming your character is always the best thing you can do. Now, the recommended enchants for each slot are going to be Wafting Devotion or Sophic Devotion on your weapon. Enchant chest is going to be Waking Stats. Your braces are going to be Devotion of Avoidance. Your legs are going to either be Frozen Spell Thread or Vibrant Spell Thread, Sim. Your boots are going to be Watcher's Loam. Your rings are going to be either Devotion of Haste or Writ of Haste, depending on what you can afford. And finally, on your cape, we're going to be taking Graceful Avoidance. Now, next up, we're going to be talking potions and files and consumables. Now, for raids, we're always going to want the Elemental Potion of Ultimate Power. It is your top choice, and it's going to always increase your DPS. Iced Vial of Corrupting Rage is recommended, but a great alternative will be Tepid Versatility, you know, if you can't afford the other, or you don't really need the other. Or you can consider Static Empowerment if movement situations allow it. In dungeons, use Iced Phial of Corrupting Rage if damage increase isn't an issue. Otherwise, again, opt for your tepid versatility. Phial of Glacial Fury is suitable for numeral targets, but it is not effective on bosses. So if you're doing Fortified, Glacial Fury could work. Tyrannical, you probably want to stay away from this. And you always, just for the sake of it, want to be having refreshing healing potions and using your Warlock health stones. Now, for food, you're going to want to prioritize the Grand Banquet of Kalawuk. Otherwise, you can go for haze food like Timely Demise or the seafood platter. Or if you need to bring up some other stats, depending on what you have, you can sim for your best food too. You want to go for Howling Rune when choosing a weapon rune. And if affordable, you always want to get your Draconic Augment runes. Now, let's talk some best in slot gear pieces you can aim for. And, of course, your trinkets. Now, every single class is going to want to aim for their Aberrus 4 set, their Raid 4 set, which you can now get from Dungeons 2, or you can craft in the Catalyst. It isn't a big deal nowadays to grab it. Now, the set bonus and what it does, I will show on screen right now. So, the 2 set Demon Bolt damage increased by 15%. Consuming a Demonic Core reduces the cooldown of your Grimoire Felguard by 1 second. The 4 set bonus, Grimoire Felguard, deals 40% additional damage and empowers your active demons, increasing their damage by 20%. Now, it's one of the coolest looking armors in the game, so, you know, you're going to want it anyway. Now, for your neck, you're going to want Magmarux's 4th collar from the Raid or Bromax's Disentombed Locket from Udem. Now, for your cape, you're going to want Voice of the Silent Star from the Raid, Sakhareth, or you're going to want the Putrid Carapace from Neltharion's Lair. Now, for your rings, you're going to want Onyx Imposter's Birthright or Tormentor's Siphoning Signet from the Raid. From Dungeons, you're going to want to look for Loop of Valatrelic Intent from Neltharion's Lair or the ring Loop of Pulsing Veins from the Underworld. Weapons, you're going to want the Staff, which is Arathos the Empty Promise from Sakhareth in the Raid, or you're going to want to aim for Infinite Dragonspire from Alderman. Now, when I'm looking at trinkets, I always head to Blood Mallet to look at the single target and dungeon trinkets that are the best for me, but you can also sim this, of course. But the top 4 trinkets for single target Demonology are going to be Iridius Fragment, Neltharion's Call to Dominance from the Raid, Time Breaching Talon from Alderman, or the Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows, which comes from the Mega Dungeon. Now, for more AoE environments, so 5 targets, we're talking Neltharion's Call to Dominance, Iridius Fragment, Ominous, and Erupting Spear Fragment are all great choices for AoE environment. Okay, so let's talk about embellishments. Now, number 1 priority should be to get 2 Shadow Flame Tempered patches on. But you can do that, or you can go Shadow Flame Tempered Armor Patch plus the Elemental Lariat if you've got the max gems for this. If not, you can always go Elemental Lariat plus Amice of the Blue, which are a pair of shoulders. Now, any of these 3 choices are a great go-to start. Now, for AoE and Cleave, the Amice of the Blue plus the Lariat is probably the best choice. But for single target, Shadow Flamed patches, 2 of them, works out to be better, or Shadow Flame Patch and Elemental Lariat. Now, next up, we're going to be talking rotation, and we're going to be starting with this single target opener and into the normal abilities. Now, you're going to be able to see what I'm casting on the side of your screen, and I'm going to go through some of the rotation right now for you. So, we're going to start off by pre-casting Power Siphon, especially if you're using Inner Demons. We're going to follow this up with 2 Shadow Bolts to lay down some initial damage, and then we're going to open with Nether Portal. We're going to activate Soulburn to empower our next abilities. We're then going to bring forth Felguard, and then summon Vile Fiend, and then we're going to execute Demon Bolt, making use of the Demon Core buff. We're going to use our Dreadstalkers. We're going to hold down Hand of Gul'dan to keep the pressure up, followed by some more Demon Bolts. Use Hand of Gul'dan along with your trinkets, potions, and any racials at this stage. Use Demonic Tyrant, then continue to use Hand of Gul'dan, and then more Hand of Gul'dan, and then finish with Demonic Strength to amplify your damage. Now, I've said it fairly slow. This is all going to happen a lot quicker during your fight. Now, you have to remember that a lot of the damage from Demonology Warlocks comes from this section where Nether Portal is up and all of your pets are up. Once this runs out, you are going to see a drop in damage to hit maintain. But whenever this happens, you're going to see a big jump in damage. Now, for your AoE section, it's going to be fairly similar. You're just not going to be running Nether Portal, and you're going to be running Implosion instead. So we're going to always try to build up to 5 soul shards before we do anything in an AoE environment. We build up to 5 soul shards and we drop Grimoire of Felguard. We alternate between Shadowbolt and Hand of Gul'dan. You drop your Dreadstalkers, build up to 5 shards again, and then Hand of Gul'dan, Shadowbolt, Hand of Gul'dan, Hand of Gul'dan. You're going to throw your Tyrant up, Demonic Strength, and then your number of imps will be based on these procs. You might even manage to squeeze in 6 or more imps during your Demonic Tyrant setup. So you're going to throw them out when you feel like you've got enough imps up. So, you know, you could do it at 6, you could do it at 10, you could do it at 12. You have to judge the situation because ads can die fast. You know, bosses can die quickly. It's about judging the situation. I would always say do it with 6 or more imps up, though. So try and line up your CDs for Mythic Plus. It's always going to be a struggle because the environments are changing so frequently throughout Mythic Dungeons. Try and line your CDs up. If you can't, then, you know, try and blow them at the start of the fight so you have them up and you can create some more damage going through it and help your team out. You want to maximize your damage consistently with this. You don't really want to be holding them all the time because sometimes killing packs is what's going to speed up the dungeon rather than killing bosses. And that is it for me, guys. That is our Demonology Warlock guide for raiding and Mythic Dungeons. I hope you have enjoyed the video, learned something new, whether you are a veteran or a brand new player. I hope to be able to help you reach your maximum DPS output. Now, I'm sorry I've been away. My health issues suck, but I'll try to be back now with more guides, more consistent news, and just updates in general on the WoW stuff. Make sure you come and check us out over on twitch.tv/BiggySweats all week. I would love to see you there. If you have any questions or anything or any guys you want to see, please just let me know below. Now, until next time, like, follow, and subscribe. Peace.